I bought this ranch 15 years ago, and every pipe, valve, and water line on it legally belongs to me. That morning, I simply shut off my own water supply for scheduled maintenance. I never imagined that one simple decision would send my HOA neighbors into complete panic. The pipeline had developed a small leak, and shutting it down was the safest way to repair it. It was routine work that would only take a few hours. Minutes later, the neighboring HOA realized their sprinklers and decorative fountains had stopped working. Confusion quickly spread through the entire neighborhood. One woman marched outside and immediately blamed me. Without asking a single question, she assumed I had stolen what she called their water. I calmly explained that I was repairing my private water system. Instead of listening, she became even louder with every sentence. Soon, more neighbors gathered behind her. Rumors spread faster than facts, and suddenly everyone believed I had intentionally cut off their water. I even offered to show the legal documents proving ownership of the pipeline. She refused to read a single page. Instead of accepting the facts, she pulled out her phone. She decided that calling 911 would somehow solve a private property disagreement. I didn't argue anymore. Experience had taught me that staying calm usually speaks louder than shouting. Within minutes, a sheriff's deputy arrived to investigate the situation. Linda looked confident, convinced that I was about to be arrested. The deputy listened patiently as Linda insisted I had cut off the neighborhood's water. She spoke with absolute confidence, convinced the law was on her side. When it was my turn, I quietly handed the deputy the property records. Every document clearly showed that the pipeline and valve were entirely on my ranch. The deputy carefully reviewed every page instead of rushing to conclusions. As he read the survey maps, his expression slowly began to change. The survey left no room for misunderstanding. The main water line crossed only my land before reaching the neighboring development. Linda refused to accept what the documents showed. She insisted that because the neighborhood depended on the pipeline, it somehow belonged to everyone. The deputy explained that owning land also means controlling the private utilities located on that land. A temporary maintenance shutdown was completely lawful. The crowd that had gathered so confidently suddenly grew quiet. People began realizing they had accepted rumors without checking the facts. While everyone argued, I stayed focused on the repair itself. The damaged fitting only needed a simple replacement before the system could safely restart. Once the repair was complete, I slowly reopened the valve. Water began flowing to the pipeline exactly as it had before. Within moments, water returned to the entire neighborhood. The deputy closed his notebook, nodded politely, and wished me a good afternoon. Linda had called 911 expecting an arrest, but instead, she learned an expensive lesson about property rights. I thought the day was finally over. The repair was complete, the water was flowing again, and I was ready to get back to work on my ranch. After the deputy left, the HOA board finally started asking questions. They wanted to know why the neighborhood depended entirely on a pipeline running through private property. The documents revealed something surprising. Years earlier, the developer had connected the community to my ranch's pipeline through a legal agreement that required my permission. For the first time, someone from the HOA approached me respectfully. Instead of making demands, they politely asked if we could discuss a long-term solution. I explained that I had never wanted conflict. I only expected everyone to respect my property and communicate before making accusations. Linda stood quietly off to the side. For the first time, no one rushed to support her version of the story. Within a week, the HOA hired engineers to inspect the entire system. They agreed that building an independent water connection would prevent future problems. Construction began on a separate pipeline for the neighborhood. It took several weeks, but everyone knew it was the right solution. Once the new line was finished, the neighborhood finally had its own reliable water supply. My ranch returned to being exactly what it had always been, private property. That day reminded everyone that respecting property rights starts with respecting the people who own them. A simple maintenance repair turned into an unforgettable lesson about facts, patience, and good neighbors. If you enjoyed this HOA story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more unbelievable HOA battles every week. And let us know in the comments, where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you.